Hey guys, welcome to Outside the Box, and today we're going to talk joints.
Welcome to Outside the Box.
That's right, action figure joints. And if you haven't seen our previous video up above, you should check it out where we built Kavaxas from TMNT 2012 in Fusion 360 to get him ready to print on our 3D printer. But yes, like I said, we're talking joints, and there are a plethora of joints. I mean, you've got swivel joints, you've got ball joints, you've got ball on socket joints, you've got double ball joints, you've got swivel hinge, you've got pivot joints. It is endless. We are going to break it down in this video and show you the three main joints that we're going to use on our Kavaxas character. So let's get into it. Welcome into our joint discussion. What we're going to use for our joints. The first one being right in front of you, the ball joint. Now you can see this ball joint. It's got some relief cut into the socket. That's giving us a little bit of pliability so that when we pop that ball in, that plastic has a little bit of movement to be able to accept it and hopefully not break and crack and all those things. But if you want to sit a little bit, we got a cross-section view of this guy, and you can kind of see what we have going on as far as our tolerances. We've got a little bit of tolerance here, just so this ball is not rubbing completely against the socket. We can adjust for that. If we print and we find that the resin needs a little bit more, a little bit less of that tolerance, we can change the offset of our ball joint to accommodate for the resin we're using. This is a classic, simple, easy joint. It is just about every action figure, especially used a lot in the head, if you have a mid-torso articulation, there's usually a ball joint in the side there, and ball joints are usually located on the thigh or what would be the hip area. They really allow for a lot of freedom of movement and articulation because you can go in multiple directions, right? All right, guys, so the next one we're talking about is our swivel hinge. So what this is we've got the ability to swivel this, and it's got a pivot or pivot point that would go into the body. This is a classic joint for like a shoulder. You can use it in an elbow area. You can use it anywhere you want. It really depends on what level of articulation you want or desire. Let's go ahead and look at our cross-section view. Now this has been simplified a little bit, but in essence what we have is our main ball. Then we have our pivot point for the ball. So this is where the ball can rotate around, or likewise the pivot can rotate or swivel around. And then we have our pivot point, which this would end up going through a designated hole on the body and pop through and seat it in. So you would have the torso. In this case, maybe the socket of the shoulder is here that's connected to the torso, and this is pops right in. So now the nice thing about this is we can control where our stop point is. So this is our stop. So if this was rotated in this direction, and let's go ahead and let's show that. All right, so now you're going to see as I rotate this, the stop is coming down and then it is engaging with the pin, and it would stop there. And as you can see, our shoulder, if this was our shoulder, say this is the top of the shoulder, our arm would now be extended somewhere out here. To get more travel, we just move our stop up so that we can get more travel and cause that to come a little further. The same is true the other way, but the thing about the other way is we have the torso in the way. So as this comes back, our arm's never going to be able to swing this much back because there's going to be stuff in the way. But what it does is it creates a little bit of area of freedom for that joint to move. It works really well, and it's just about one of the most common joints out there. And our last joint that we'll be using is, well, it looks pretty simple, doesn't it? Well, it is simple. It's just a simple pin pivot joint. And all it is a pin, much like it was on our swivel joint, that goes into a hole, whether it's the wrist. This works really well for the wrist area. So if you have a hand, you want to put this pin on the end of it, then you can have the whole designated hole on the other side of the arm, and they can connect together. You'll see this a lot in He-Man action figures, pretty much a lot of action figures really. If you can remove the hand, the reason you can remove it is because it's a joint much like this. It's able to swivel because again, it is in a hole. It has freedom to move. Really simple. So let's go ahead and we'll move that and give you an idea just to show you how that works. So there's our pin. Our pin is engaged, or this is, let's say our hand is right here, built off here. All of our geometry of our hand is here. Here's our wrist area. All of our geometry of our wrist is built here. And then all we're doing is we're simply just popping that into place. And then we have our hinge attached and ready to go. So really, really cool. All right, guys, these are the 3 hinges that we will be using in our Kavaxas. You'll start to notice them in different spots. You're primarily going to see the pin and the ball joint more than likely. The swivel may or may not, but it depends on the rigidity, the elasticity of the resin that we use. Those are the 3 joints that we're going to use on our Kavaxas action figure. Pretty cool and really exciting. And to see it in the computer and get it working in the computer and then bringing it up to reality, that's really the fun part. But I really appreciate you guys watching this video. Please like, comment, subscribe. Let us know what you think. Let us know if there's action figures you want to build. And until then, we'll catch you on the next one.